This is Guided Tour by Stephen Millhauser. 15, 16, one more and we're good to go. There, 17, all present and accounted for. You, sir, in back. May I ask you to step forward a little? We don't want to lose anyone. So, we're now ready to begin the walking portion of our tour. For those of you who may have concerns, I can assure you that it won't be strenuous. It's no more than 2 miles to our final destination. Plenty of stops along the way. The bus will remain here, outside the wall, to await your return. At that time, all cell phones and smartphones will be handed back to you at the guardhouse. The driver is authorized to leave the vehicle, will of course lock both doors securely. I need to remind you that Authentic Tour is not responsible for any personal items that may remain on board. Before we begin, please take a moment to observe the Stadtmauer or town wall. It completely surrounds the town, which stands near the river that flows past on one side. Medieval rivers are good for trade, but dangerous as routes of invasion. Our wall is 9 meters high, or 29.5 feet, with 22 observation towers, each manned by a small garrison. As you know, Authentic Tours prides itself on providing its customers with an authentic experience of historical events. That is why we've bypassed the sprawling contemporary town that clings to the same name, but has expanded far beyond the original walls and is built up on both sides of the river. It bears little resemblance to the 13th century world we're about to enter. Our researchers and architects, using all available evidence, have spared no effort in reconstructing the town as it was in June of the year 1284, when the stranger first appeared. Please follow me through this tour or gate. Note the high curved arch, typical of the period. There are 4 gates in the wall, all kept open during the day to allow townsfolk to pass out into the surrounding field and farms. Take a look at the thick doors as you pass. At sunset, they're swung shut and barred to protect the town against unknown visitors or armed invaders. Please observe the guard, who in those days would have stopped us and demanded to know the purpose of our visit. He then have inspected our belongings and collected a toll. No, we're fine. You can enter. Just follow me. Here we are at the beginning of the high street. Let's stop for a moment and take it all in. Note the many horses, the carts full of goods, the merchants in their fur-lined cloaks. Look at the tanners and weavers in their shops, the stable boys, the dogs, the chickens, the geese. Chicken feathers everywhere. This street won't be paved for another century. Over there, that sign hanging over the doorway. Do you see the mortar and pestle? That's the apothecary shop. I'm sure you've noted the piles of filth typical of this period. Don't be alarmed. The masses of animal and human excrement, the rotting vegetables, the fish entrails, all are hand-painted plastic models made from vinyl chloride by our highly skilled replica artists. Concealed odor machines produce a mild approximation of the original smells, which in their full force would cause attacks of nausea and vomiting in most of you. Please stay close behind and follow me to the church square directly ahead. Note the narrow side lanes, the wooden houses crowded together on both sides. See how the second stories jut out beyond the first, almost meeting in the middle of the lanes. Over that way, just before we reach the church, you'll see another gate in the wall with a view of the river. That's where the rats were drowned. Here in the church square, where we'll pause for a few moments. All here? 15, 16, 17? Good. Apart from the fortified wall and a few houses owned by the wealthier merchants, the church is the only structure built of stone. It's the tallest building, as you can see, though much lower and narrower than it's destined to become in the next couple of centuries. At present, in the year 1284, the church is undergoing a slow transformation from Romanesque basilica to Gothic cathedral. We're not here because of the church. We're here because of the children. For it is here, on that fateful June morning, that the stranger appeared for the second time, no longer in the many-colored costume of his first visit, but in the dress of a hunter, dark green with a brilliant red hat. He is angry. He raises his wooden flute. Remember, 3 days earlier, the stranger led the rats and mice through the streets of the town and down to the riverside gate. He passed through the gate to the bank of the river. There, still playing his flute, he walked slowly into the water up to his waist. I like to think of him that way, standing in the river on a sunny day in June, playing his wooden flute. You all know what happened. The rats and mice plunged after him and drowned. But when the piper went back through the gate to collect his reward, the leaders of the town laughed at him, refused to keep their promise. Now he has returned in anger. He raises his flute and begins to play. I ask you to imagine the music. Is it the same music that enticed the rats and mice to follow him through the gate into the river? It can't have been the same. It can't have been, because not a single child followed him the first time. It must have been music for them alone, for the children of Hamelin. Piercing, seductive music. Music that passes through the skin, makes your blood restless. A summons, a promise, a call, an enchantment. Imagine the children. Imagine them. They are the children of cobblers, weavers, tanners. They are the children of butchers and bakers, of blacksmiths and coppersmiths, of tavern keepers, of silk merchants. They are in the shops and stables. They are in the narrow lanes. They are in the upper rooms of the merchant houses, being read to by governesses. They hear a sound they have never heard before. They stop. They lift their heads. They listen. What is that sound? It's a sound buried in the depths of rainbows. It's the sound of setting suns, the shadows of birds in flight. It's the sound of blue skies on long summer afternoons. It's the sound rising from beneath the sun shining on the river, the sound coming from the bowels of stones. They must follow that music. They hurry into the street. They gather around him, the stranger in the red hat. His right elbow is raised. His fingers are fluttering over the wooden flute. He begins to walk. The children follow. We're told that 130 children came forth that day. Where are the parents? The parents are watching. They're watching from doorways. They're watching from the shops and market stalls, but they cannot move. The music that has the power to stir the children is closed around the parents like twists of rope. They can do nothing as the children follow the stranger along the high street toward the gate that leads to the forest. Can you hear that music? Can you feel it? It's the sound of the other side of sunlight. We'll now proceed along the high street and out through the gate, which you see straight ahead. Observe the narrow lanes on both sides, the shop signs hanging from poles, the second stores built out over the sunless streets. Please stay close behind me. Let's pause here outside the gate. You'll notice that the ground near the wall has been cleared for purposes of defense. Over there lies the river. No enemy can approach the wall unseen. In a moment we'll be making our way across the clearing and over to the meadow. We're fortunate to have such lovely weather for our walk, don't you think? Maybe that some of you find the sunshine a bit strong out here, so I'm pleased to see so many hats. That straw hat, ma'am, with a wide brim. A very good choice for our excursion. Please take a moment to make any adjustments to your clothing that you care to make. If any of you are carrying sunblock, you may want to apply it now. But let me assure you, our path lies directly through the meadow and over to that forest, which you can see from here. It isn't far. Take a moment to look at the river, winding away in the sunlight. Beyond the river, the rolling countryside. Over there, the farms and orchards, the vegetable gardens. This is the kind of day that makes you happy to be alive. Please follow me. Our stretch of meadow may have been a goat pasture at one time. Leads down to the river on this side. We're almost there. Here we are, like the children of that far-off summer, at the edge of the forest. Let's stop for a moment and look back at the town. You can see the wall, the towers, the top of the arched gates. And over everything, the steeple of the church. The world the children have left is not far behind. It's right there, on the other side of the meadow. It's the familiar world, the safe world, a world closed off from everything beyond. The children are glad to leave that shut-in place and glad to return to it. Try to put yourself in their place. You are the children of Hamelin. Before you lies the forest. Behind you the meadow and the gate. Many of you have come to the forest with your mothers or older sisters to search for mushrooms, to pick berries, to gather kindling. but you're never allowed to walk unattended among the high trees. You've also heard the stories. The stories come from the mouths of nursemaids and servants, from the throats of blue-eyed grandmothers sitting at your bedside as you fall asleep. The stories are about creatures of the forest, elves with crooked noses who lie in wait for you with their sacks, witches who will entice you into their cottages and snatch you up and eat you. But you aren't thinking of the dark forest now. You're thinking of the pleasant shade at the edge of the trees. You're following the stranger with the flute. You're following the music that is like soft fingers against your faces, music that whispers, "Come with me, oh come with me." You don't hesitate to follow the stranger into the trees. Please stay close behind me. The forest path will soon disappear. Many of these trees are hundreds of years old. Observe these oaks, so high that you can barely see the tops. Over there, a thicket of firs, spruce, beech. Have you ever seen trunks so thick? The forest has its dark places, but sunlight still strikes the upper branches and falls in bright patches down here with us among the ferns and the dead brown leaves. Let's stop here in the clearing. 4, 5, 9, 10, and 17. Excellent. We're almost there. If any of you are tired, please feel free to rest on one of those enormous roots. Nature's chairs, I call them. I ask you again to imagine the children. You are following the stranger whose music draws you forward. The farthest thing from your mind is that he might wish you any harm. But even as you follow, you're aware that you can no longer see the town. When you turn your heads for a moment to look back. Turn your heads. Look back. What do you see? Nothing but mossy trunks, thick branches, a chaos of leaves. You're deep in the forest, world you know and do not know. It's possible that in the midst of your enchantment, a ripple of uncertainty passes through you, a touch of fear. But almost at once you fall under the spell of the music, which beckons you to an adventure you cannot refuse. And what of the piper? Think about him. He's not angry. He's not angry at you, the children. His rage is directed elsewhere. The adults have wronged him, and he will never forgive them. As he leads you away from the familiar world, through the woods, how could he not be aware of his terrible powers over you? How could he not rejoice in that power as he pulls you forward by the force of his breath alone? How could he not feel in the depths of his being a certain contempt for you, his victims, as you follow him all too meekly to an unhappy end? Please follow me. We'll soon be arriving at our destination. Up ahead there, see? The trees are thinning out. Here we are at the foot of the mountain. A high hill, really, or call it a low mountain, rising up before us and covered with trees. Near the top you can see down into the town, the church, the street where we walked a short time ago, the steep roofs of the houses. Do I see a hand? Sir? My apologies. I didn't mean to cause you any anxiety. We're not going to climb the mountain. Look straight ahead. There where the land begins to slope upward. Do you see where I'm pointing? That cluster of high bushes. If you look carefully, you can make out an opening. This is the entrance to the cave. Follow me. We'll stop here for a moment before the cave mouth. Please be patient while I count you one more time. We certainly don't want to lose anyone. 14, 15, 16, 17. Very good. In just a moment, I'll be leading you into the cave. Keep in mind that it's very dark inside. You'll be safe with me, but please stay close. What do we know about the children's entrance into the mountain? We know that the mountain opened at the playing of the flute. But how it opened is far from clear. Did the mountainside rip apart with a loud cracking of stone? Did trees shake and fall? Was there, as some say, a great door in the mountain which gradually swung open? We simply don't know. We also don't know about the music. Did the stranger play a new melody on his wooden pipe, addressed to the mountain alone? Was it a darker melody, an inhuman melody, drawn from all that lies hidden in the world? And let's not forget the children. What were they thinking, the children of Hamlin, as they watched the hillside open to receive them? Was there the thrill of a new adventure about to begin? Or was there a moment of doubt as they stared into the darkness? We know only that the mountain opened and the children followed the stranger in. Please follow me. This way. We have room for two abreast. Right through here. Careful. Watch your step. The light from outside will guide you in. Are we all safely inside? 16, 17. You can still see a bit of light from the opening. It doesn't reach far. Please come forward a little more. Slowly. Slowly. That's right. Easy does it. Take your time. Good. Let's stop here at the threshold of darkness. Have any of you been in a mountain cave before? They vary widely. Some are as immense as dreams. Others take the form of smaller chambers with passageways leading to open spaces that contain stalactites, stagnant pools, even waterfalls. But the secret places of mountains always have one thing in common. Once you make your way inside, past the dim light of the entrance, you can see nothing at all. Think of the children. They'd have come into the mountain behind the stranger with his magic pipe. They will follow him anywhere, even here. But as the music draws them forward, they are aware that they've come to a place of utter darkness. This is no longer the shady forest, lit by bars of sunlight that lean through the high branches like ladders of brightness. This is a darkness deeper than the darkness of starlit nights. This is a darkness darker than dark. It is a darkness so dark it has a heaviness they can feel. It presses against them. Can you feel it pressing against you? It's the darkness on the other side of everything that is known. The stranger is no longer visible. He's still playing his flute. Slowly, like a sun slipping behind a hill, the entrance closes. The children are half aware of the closing of the mountain, but they're still under the spell of the music. They can no longer see one another's faces. They've stopped moving. There's nothing left in the world but that music. And now something happens. There's something more extraordinary than the closing of the mountain. There's something that has never once entered the minds of the children as they followed the piper through the forest and into the darkness of the cave, where their minds have been possessed by an unworldly music. But now it happens, as it was destined to happen from the beginning. The music stops. The stranger has lowered his pipe. His work is done. Imagine that moment. The children have come into the mountain. The music that filled them with longing has suddenly stopped. They're not frightened, not yet, but they are unsure. The silence is like a sound they have never heard before. They listen to that sound, that silence, and do not know what it is. All around them is darkness. They're beginning to understand, but they do not yet understand. They do not yet understand that the stranger has deceived them. They will never return to the world of sunlight. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your patience. We're almost done. I ask only that you remain where you are for a moment while I slip outside. Can you hear me? This is the sound of the inner partition sliding down. It's the last sound you will hear from the outside world. And that is the sound of the outer partition sliding down. The sound you cannot hear. The partitions are made of oak from the forest, are 1 meter thick. They can never be moved. Although you can no longer hear me, I'm still speaking to you. These words are part of your tour. I'm addressing you through the doors of the hill. In a few moments, I'll make my way back through the forest and into town. The bus driver and I have a long way to go. No one knows what became of the children. We know only that they were never seen again. We can imagine the first cries, the shouts, the desperate search for a way out. Did they beat their hands against the walls of the cave? Did they stumble and fall? Did they sit down and weep bitter tears? We have no way of knowing, but you will soon know. You will know what no one knows. You will know what no one can bear to know. We here at Authentic Tour don't pretend to have all the answers. We promise only to provide you with an authentic experience of events that took place long ago. These events have come down to us in the form of tales or legends, of stories to be told to children safe in their beds. But beware of stories. Stories have teeth that can sink into your flesh. If you try to tear yourself away, blood will spill. Think of the children of Hamlin. Think of them. They are alive in the dark, like you. They've been betrayed by a stranger, like you. They cannot see their own hands. They cannot see the ground. A terrible knowledge is growing in them. Our tour is done. Thank you for choosing Authentic Tour. It's been my pleasure to serve as your guide.